It is September 52 BC. Deep in the heart of Gaul, Julius Caesar has finally trapped his greatest rival. The Gallic chieftain Vercingetorix is sealed inside the hilltop fortress of Alesia. The math of this standoff is painfully simple. 80,000 Gallic warriors hold the high ground behind stone walls. 60,000 Roman legionaries sit at the base. You cannot storm a mountain, so the Roman army begins to dig. For weeks, they construct an 11-mile ring of fortifications completely surrounding the mountain, a tactic known as circumvallation. They build 12-foot wooden walls, 23 separate forts, and deep trenches filled with water. Caesar refuses to fight on the enemy's terms. He has engineered a perfect noose, designed to starve out the defenders and conclude the Gallic Wars without a single major clash of swords. But before the trap can close completely, Roman scouts ride into camp with terrifying news. A small band of Gallic cavalry slipped through the lines weeks ago. They rallied the neighboring tribes, and a massive relief army is now marching directly toward the Roman rear. The incoming force numbers 250,000 fanatical Gallic warriors. Look at this top-down map. The Romans are caught entirely in the open. 80,000 enemies look down from the mountain above, while 250,000 close in from behind. Caesar is outnumbered 5-1, completely cut off with nowhere to retreat. His response defies standard military logic. Instead of breaking the siege and running, he orders his men to turn around and begin building a second wall, 14 miles long, facing outward. They turn their own camp into a giant hollow wooden donut. A thin wooden palisade cannot physically hold back 250,000 men. To survive, Caesar has to shift the terms of the engagement from a question of manpower into a pure test of extreme engineering. Wood alone will splinter under the weight of that many attackers. To prevent the wall from being overrun, Caesar forces his men to weaponize the very girth in front of their defenses. This cross-section shows the outer defenses. Iron hooks called stimuli are buried to shred charging cavalry. Next are 5 rows of pits concealing sharpened branches called lilies. Finally, before the wall sit 2 15-foot trenches, the inner moat filled by a river. These layers work together as a synchronized mechanical gauntlet. They are purposefully designed to break the psychology of a sprint, forcing a roaring, charging army to slow down into a terrified, crawling mass. The relief force arrives, and the assault hits like a tidal wave. From the mountain above, Vercingetorix swarms down the hill, while the 250,000 Gauls on the outside charge headlong into the traps. For the Roman legionaries, the physical reality of this fight is a nightmare. They stand on narrow wooden platforms, thrusting their spears into 2 opposite directions simultaneously. Over 3 brutal days, the engineering takes its toll. The fields fill with warriors shredded by the iron hooks and impaled by the hidden stakes at the bottom of the lilies. The traps do exactly what they were designed to do. By bottlenecking and stalling 250,000 men, they alter the mathematical reality of the battle. The vastly outnumbered Romans only have to fight a manageable trickle of enemies at any given second. But engineering has its limits. By the 4th day of continuous fighting, the sheer mass of the enemy begins to overwhelm the trap fields. The outer Gallic force finds a geographical weakness, a gap near a steep hill where the Romans couldn't finish the outer wall. Exactly as they strike it, Vercingetorix hammers that identical spot from the inside. 60,000 elite Gallic warriors violently breach the unfinished outer wall, and the Roman lines begin to collapse under the pressure. Recognizing the breaking point, Caesar puts on his bright red cloak, draws his sword, and leads his personal cavalry reserve on a desperate charge straight into the enemy flank. Caught completely off guard by a cavalry charge while still struggling to navigate the trap field, the massive Gallic relief force breaks. Panic spreads, and 250,000 men scatter into the forests. The next morning, the gates of Alesia open. Vercingetorix rides down the mountain alone, strips off his armor, and surrenders to Caesar. With that surrender, Gaul officially becomes a Roman province. It provides the immense wealth and veteran loyalty that Caesar will soon use to cross the Rubicon, march on Rome, and declare himself dictator. It is easy to look at the ancient world and assume battles were decided entirely by who fielded the most men with the sharpest swords. Alesia proves a terrifying truth about the Roman war machine. Rome conquered the known world through sheer, brutal engineering. If you gave a Roman legionary a shovel, he could build his way out of an impossible death sentence.